Hello, good evening everybody, welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series here for Season 5, Round 4. It is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I'm your commentator all right. With me I have got, not Jacko, I have got Jess.
Good evening everybody, welcome. We are at Baku for Azerbaijan. It was meant to be Russia, but due to reasons, we decided to go here to Baku instead, and it always brings some sort of drama, doesn't it? So I'm really glad we're doing this one tonight. There's no jokers tonight as well, and the stages are lap 6 and lap 12.
Yep, so we're here in Azerbaijan. We've had some of the most chaotic races in JACKOCAR history, and frankly it's amazing that we didn't end up with this track on the calendar in the first place. But we've got it now. And I'm hoping we'll have a decent race. Haven't had any sort of wet weather yet this season. I think a lot of drivers were talking about this earlier on. Perhaps we'll be getting a taste of that today. But of course all is to be revealed once we actually get into the lobby. We're just waiting for OKK. And we will see what qualifying has to bring. We have got 20 drivers with us tonight. And you will notice that, like I say, since Jacko's not here, you will find him on the grid tonight. So after his multiple disappearing acts last season, he's decided he fancies doing it again. And so he will be racing tonight.
Yeah, he's filling in for Pete, his actual first cup race that Pete is not going to be taking part in, which is quite strange because he's taken part in all 69 Cup Series races. This is the 70th one tonight. So Jacko's filling in for Pete. We also got Liam, who is his third Cup Series race. He's filling in for Tees. And then we've got Yuri, who is in for his fourth race. We should call him full time, to be honest, at this rate. He is in for Ben Harritt. Those are your reserves for tonight.
So we are waiting for Yuri to come out onto track. We will see, hopefully, it happening on time. Although with this game it does tend to be a little bit off, but thank goodness it will be on time this time. And so the pink and blue machine comes out onto track with that little bit of yellow, the Alexander Rossi Napa colours as usual. And we will see the challenge of this track. A normal track, of course, after last week where we went for the super speedway approach at France, a race which was somewhat successful. I know a lot of drivers maybe didn't like it, but I think there's definitely potential for that one to continue in the seasons to come. So look out for that in future calendars. But for now, Yuri is here in Azerbaijan looking to get hopefully some good results. As we say, he keeps on being a reserve, but at this rate he might as well be full-time.
Yes, he's actually done quite well as well in terms of points this season in Cup, so he's looking for another good, decent result here in Baku. Interesting stat for him as well, because it was the first Kia Series race on Tuesday. He became the third driver to join the exclusive club of Khalifa and Arnaud to do a last to first kind of thing. So he started from the back and he went all the way to win the race in Britain, and he was the first Kia Series driver to advance to the playoffs this season. I did challenge to do it here tonight at Baku. He didn't want to, so he's actually going to hopefully set a lap tonight as well. So yeah, he's off to a good start this week. Maybe, hopefully, he should keep that momentum up.
Yep, and as he just prepares the last few moments of his outlap, we will see how he gets going. He's put his foot to the floor, one last braking zone, and then it's the very, very long run towards turn 1 and the start of the first qualifying lap of the evening. And we will see, of course, if you are new to JACKOCAR, every driver only gets one lap in qualifying. They come out of the pits in reverse order, and it's your one shot to get a position on the grid. If you invalidate your lap, you must still finish it, but of course the time will not count, as Yuri comes through turn 1, takes it relatively easily, doesn't want to have any issues like we see for the car ahead, which is of course the owner, Shock. And he's done what a lot of people do down there at turn 2, when they just go too deep on the way out of the pits. The tyres end up quite cold, so hopefully Jacko can recover and get a qualifying lap underway. Hopefully there's no damage as Yuri comes past the crash point for many drivers in real life qualifying. We had Ricardo, and we had Sonoda, and we had Sainz down there, all having accidents, but Yuri has made it through. And he has completed the first sector, 35.5, another off for Jacko, so he's struggling with the brakes or something, but that's a real concern for him, and you don't want to be anywhere near him in the race if he's acting like that in the braking zones. You'll end up in some sort of accident. as Yuri heads to potentially the most difficult part of the track, although I see a lot more people making mistakes at other parts, in fact. Even though the castle is so tight, I think everyone expects that one to be difficult, but it's even the corner up ahead. We saw multiple pile-ups here in JACKOCAR history, especially last season. And you can see how massive this curve is going to be on the inside. You can see why that happened, but Yuri has made it through, and there's only one more braking zone to go before he can get his lap done at 1:15.9 through the middle sector, and it is all flat out to the line. Will he derate? We'll see how that works tonight. I'm wondering if drivers have sort of anticipated that, or if it's just not going to be a factor at all. We'll find out regardless as he comes through. And we will see the first time of the evening, and it will be a benchmark for the rest of the grid. I'm not sure if it will be right up at the top, but at 1:40.5, that is the first time of the session. And we cut now to Liam.
Yep, his third Cup Series race. He got his best result last week at the Paul Ricard Speedway. Finished in P6, stayed out in a lot of trouble, even though he wasn't one of the fastest drivers. He kept it on the road and then was able to get a decent result as well. Hopefully he's able to replicate that tonight. He did say to me, though, he's not having high hopes about this track because he's on a pad and it usually doesn't go well for him. But if you survive around this track, really, you'll get some decent results, as we found in previous seasons in JACKOCAR history, apart from obviously Season 3, where we didn't visit Baku at all, but we have visited in all other seasons as well. So Liam, up to the line he goes, and it's a 1:42.4, which puts him in 2.
Corey has stuck it in the wall at the castle section, and he's so upset with himself that he's actually gone and left the session. He is one of 4 drivers looking for his first points this season. Perhaps they won't be coming tonight. Now, let's see Jacko. He is still on track, despite his 2 offs on the out lap. He seems to have it all under control now, but despite that, he is still taking it quite easy up the hill. I'm sure he'll probably be aware of what happened. We have another car actually going off at turn 3. It's interesting to see how much they're actually struggling with the braking zones, although that could be maybe people getting out of the way of others. But even still, it's a odd thing to be seeing happening as Jacko comes to the end of the middle sector. Remember, you're what, 15.9 through here. Jacko 3/10 quicker, so as long as he keeps this all squeaky clean, we're going to see the league owner go up to P1, and you bet he'll be straight onto the screenshot button, getting that saved for the rest of time if he can do it. So let's see. As he comes up to the line, the DRS will be enabled, and it will be a straight shot to, hopefully for him, P1. Let's see, 1:40.5 to beat, and he's done so by 4:10. So Jacko, the league owner, has gone P1.
Well, at least he's got a lap, and we thought he wasn't going to get a lap in due to him missing his brakes a few times, but it's not about what you do in the out lap, it's what you do in the flying lap as well. It was meant to be Corey up next, but like you said, he's binned it.
Oh, and Quinn
saying
as
that,
well.
Quinn has binned it now.
Keep it going though, he's got to keep it going. Despite the accident, he is still very much on a lap, and it could still be crucial the time that he gets on the board, because he's not the only one he's going to be crashing out. As Corey rejoins the session, I think Yuri had just left actually, he's retired left, but hopefully he'll be back soon. And yeah, Quinn, it's a shame to have his lap end like that, but at the very least he is still in the session and able to get a time on the board, because you can see he's 12th on the leaderboards. Theoretically, everyone behind him could still have bad laps and not beat him, but you can see how slow he is through there. We'll find the next driver. If I can actually get him on the screen, that would be quite useful, wouldn't it? Where is he? Jake, there he is. P11, we'll see him go up, so as long as he doesn't end up in the wall again like Quinn, he'll beat him, as Quinn goes 5.3 off the pace. You'd be surprised if that isn't, you know, that could well be, people could well go slower than that, so at least he's got to the line there, Quinn. And Jake, well, we are still waiting for this mythical first victory. Is it ever going to happen? I mean, we're only waiting for points, in fact, this season. It was that win that never came last season that stopped him being really in the fight for the championship. He wanted this season to be the one, and so far, it's not going to plan. But one victory, and you are straight into the playoffs. So yes, he is on no points so far, but it can drastically improve very quickly indeed, and it should be going P1 this, because it's a good second quicker than Jacko in the middle sector, and it is a little slower in the final sector, but still P1 regardless.
Up next is Casper, another driver who's yet to score. He scored a few wins last season, so a bit surprised to see him up there, down with no points, but still it's a long season to go for him. There could be another win under his belt tonight, and don't get a win advantage you to the playoffs. He goes up to the line, and it is a P1 for him, and it's a decent lap so far, almost a second quicker than Jake. And then we've got Jamie, there he is, going on his lap as well in the number 81 car. I think it's Jamie next. Yeah, he is.
And he's got some green and he's got some blue on the car and a little bit of white as well. Seems a bit of a throwback car, this one. Nice livery though, and we will see if it brings him any luck as he heads through the middle sector. A little bit slidey, but it's keeping it all facing in the right direction. Tight to the inside for the entry to the castle to avoid ending up on the outside of it, which obviously is where the accidents tend to happen. Although you can of course hit that inside part as well if you turn a little bit too tight, but he's got through okay. And we'll see what the middle sector is going to be like. We didn't quite see his first, so this will be our first proper indication to see where he'll be. Yellow flags behind him. Shouldn't be anything too serious though. It's a so-so middle sector. Should be on for top 3, but I'm not sure if it'll be beating Casper at all, unless there's any sort of major improvement in the last sector. But I didn't see anything massively wrong with Casper's last sector, so this should be either P2 or P3 for Jamie. So we'll see how this one goes. DRS open as usual and a straight run to the line. I think it will go P2, so it's second place for Jamie. And we have got Connor next, not too far behind actually, and he is also finishing his lap. Haven't seen any of his sectors so far, but it's not going to be at the front. It'll be P6.
Yes, next to set a lap, it is Risky, doing a lot better than this time last season as well, scoring more points than quite a lot of people that should have been up there as well. He's been there every season in the Cup Series, looking to have a better result than the last few races, liking his livery for tonight. He's got a bit of a toe from Casper, which could help him on this start-finish straight as well. Wonder if he's gained a few temps there as well. We've seen that in real life actually as well, a few cars taking advantage of that, maybe a few Ferraris. He's up to the line, P4, and next will be OKK, who is, there's lots of purple themed liveries tonight with a bit of black as well, so, but don't forget OKK is also in ART, so not really that surprised there, but yeah, I like those colours, but yeah, you know me, as he's going through the first sector now. 35-7, not too bad.
Yes, before you get excited, Nick, no, this isn't all for you. People have other reasons to be wearing the purple, but we'll see if OKK can be successful with it as he heads through. It seemed a bit all over the place as he headed through some of the curves at 5 and 6. You can see how slow he's going up the castle. He hasn't been in the wall at any point, has he? It feels like he's driving with damage, but I can't really get a good shot of the win. Doesn't look like it. Maybe he is just being careful. But it's when you're having laps as slow as this. Oh, he must have some sort of damage. There is something wrong with this. But this is where finishing your lap, like Quinn did, could be beneficial. Because OKK's time, it will be somewhat close to that. And he's got wicked understeer. So there must be some damage, even if it isn't visual. But at least he will get a toe as he heads through the last sector if he can get himself round. And that'll help to give some of the time back, because Connor will give a huge amount of overspeed, and you'll already be able to see it, especially when the DRS goes up. And he'll be hitting 205 as a little bit 206, and that improves the time just enough. And he's P9, but whatever was wrong with the car, at least he has got himself to the end of the lap, as has SD Mats, who's heading through and getting ready to post a time. We'll see where this one ends up. Should be expecting some sort of competitive times now because we are into the top 10 drivers. And it does go P4, so it is a decent run there for SD Mats.
Yeah, it was. And up next is our race winner from last season around Baku. It was J Luke as well. Don't forget our season 4 champion as well. So he's looking to make it 2 for 2 as well. He hasn't got pole last season, so he's looking to get the hat-trick tonight maybe as well. Another purple livery as well. Yeah, I think all ART drivers, most ART drivers are running the purple tonight, apart from Jake, I believe. So here he comes. We'll see what his final set is going to be like. He's on the mediums as well. Quite common to see him on the medium, so not really that surprising, to be honest. So he's going to start on them, hopefully, if he qualifies inside the top 10. But he goes up to the line. P6 for him. Not a bad lap on the mediums, actually. Pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see if that one holds. It tends not to, actually, for him, but we'll see if it happens this time as we watch Jordan heading on to the final sector. And looking, obviously, to be within that top 10. Now, there's only going to be, 7 drivers to go after him, so he needs to sort of be going up into that P3 to be guaranteeing himself a top 10 start. So we'll see how this one goes for him. It won't be top 3, so he will sort of be sitting on, sort of looking to see if this time will hold, but P8 probably won't, but we'll see anyway. You never know. Here is Gareth Hall, who definitely took a very big high out of the France Super Speedway last week. I don't think anyone maybe enjoys the track more than him, apart from perhaps Red Matt, who absolutely dominated the race, but it was a fantastic second place for him last week, Gareth, and he's now gone P9 this week. Again, might not hold for a top 10 start, but we will see how it all goes anyways. We now see Mike heading through, and we'll see how he gets on. He is a winner here. Before, he did win the first ever playoffs race in JACKOCAR history, and that was here. I think it's his only win as well in JACKOCAR, so apart from that, one win he's had around here all the way back in Season 1. That is 2 games ago. He's not quite tasted the success afterwards, but we'll see tonight. Obviously now in a permanent sort of regular season slot. We'll see how he does in Baku tonight, but indications are he's just trying to keep it clean with this one. Not sure about going fastest, but we'll see.
Yeah, because sometimes around this track, you don't necessarily need to be the fastest to do well around here as well. And MK Bourne has been the one that's been keeping it consistent throughout the season. If you keep it consistent, you're going to be in the playoffs, and that's what he's trying to do as well, being his full season in the Cup Series once again. So he's heading towards turn 16, the start of sector 3. 1:15.7 was his middle sector. A few people were a bit faster than that, but his first sector was actually looking pretty good when I was riding on board with him. So he needs to have a really decent final sector to help him get up near the top. I think he's going to beat quite a few drivers up to the line, so we'll see what he can do. The race winner from season 1, 140.4, a P9 for him, so just in the bubble, getting inside or outside the top 10. And we've got Mr. Spears on a lap next. He's currently doing very well in the championship so far. He was our chase champion last season, doing a lot better this season. He can even get into the playoffs on points if he keeps this up, but again, to finish first, you first have to finish. So Kieran up to the line, a 1:39.3, so it just leaves Ben, Kyle and Red Matt to finish their laps.
Yeah, so here is Ben, the only Ben to worry about tonight, which is easier than it has been recently to keep a track of. As Iceman, this one comes through, and we will see how his middle sector is looking. It does look good. This could well be a challenger for P1. And this is obviously what you'd be expecting from the top 3 drivers on the grid. After him, we'll have Kyle, and that's probably the last major chance to have pole position change hands, because you'll notice Red Matt has just started his lap, and he is on mediums. So this could be the P1 lap. Let's see as Iceman comes through. DRS open, a straight run to the line. Looks good, and will go P1. So the benchmark, 1:38.5. Can Kyle beat that? Like I said, there's a potential that he's the only driver out there that could be able to do that with the Red Matt's tyre situation, unless he's using some magical setup which is going to do all sorts of fantastic stuff. Let me just check which setup he's using. Oh wait, he's using mine, which I stole. So good luck with Red Matt on that one. I've not actually raced with that setup, but he felt the need to tell me before the race. But hopefully it works for you. But if it doesn't, sorry. But here comes Kyle anyway, as he comes up towards the line. Is this going to be a P1 time? It's it's going to be close, you know. Will he do it? 38.5 to beat? No, he does not do it. So Iceman then, it looks like he's on pole. It looks good, but we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait and confirm it, because Red Matt on these mediums, you just never know, but I don't think it's coming his way tonight. So that will be Iceman on pole, unless Red Matt literally goes into warp speed here. But can he get himself with Jamie into the top 10 on mediums? Jamie's now confirmed there. He sits P9. Jacko sets P10. Maybe he'll want the free tire choice of 11. He may not mind this starting position if he gets it. And as Red Matt comes to the line, will it be top 10? Yes, it will. The highest starter on the mediums. A second off Iceman. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. But it is Iceman who's on pole here in Azerbaijan.
Another different pole sitter here in Baku. We've had Pete in Season 1, Carl in Season 2, Arnold in Season 4, and Iceman becomes the 4th in Season 5. So that's very, very great to see. Will he convert that to a win like Red Matt did last week? Well, he has the pace. I'm not really that surprised because I saw him doing some practice earlier on in the week. He was on Twitter quite a lot showing off his laps, and I had a feeling the lap he was going to do was good, and he proved us right on that one. So yeah, I could tell from his lap he was putting in a lot of practice.
And he's going to cross the line again, just because he feels like it, Iceman, to end qualifying. And we will confirm the results when they pop up. Here we go. Iceman on pole then, by 1.5 tenths to Casper. Then it's Kyle, Jimmy, Kieran, Jake, Red Matt, SD Matt, and then we have Risky and Jamie completing the top 10. Like I say, Red Matt and Jamie on the medium compound tyres. That'll be interesting to see how that one plays out in the race. Outside we have Jacko, Jordan, NK Bourne, Gareth, Yuri, Connor, Evil, Bukeke, Quinn and Corey.
Yes, Corey, the only driver to have not set a lap time because he binned it, so we didn't get to see his lap as well. And it's the first race that we've seen him in a while as well. So he is a fast driver. I am expecting him to get points today, but anything can happen around Baku. And it's quite overcast here at the moment. It's meant to be a dry race, but you know, with approximate weather in JACKOCAR, 1 minute it could say it's sunny and overcast, the next minute it could rain. And with the amount of safety cars that could happen as well, this could change on the strategy as well, because don't forget they can put under safety car, but it won't count towards their mandatory stops, which means if there's like more safety cars than intended, we have to track more stops. But let's hope that they can keep it clean. But for us, we want to see some action. We want the drivers to put on the show as well. But I'm not expecting all 20 drivers to finish the race tonight. If they do, I don't know what I will do. I'll probably be speechless. But yeah, I predict that not all 20 will finish tonight.
Do you know, I reckon that's a good prediction. I can't really disagree. But look, you never know. You never know. We know. Let's be honest, that they're not getting to the end. But we'll see how they get on anyway. Hopefully, we will actually get this thing started cleanly as well. I always sort of worry about this before we get a race started. But they're all just making their tyre choices now. And with the safety car rules the way it is, I do wonder how many are actually going to do the start on mediums and get onto the softs as quickly as possible. Because it could be one of those races where you're on softs more often than not. Because people will make 4 or 5 stops today. You know, it could be that sort of situation. So we got the top 6 on the softs they qualified on, and we obviously have Red Matt and Jamie on mediums, obviously SD Matt and Risky on softs as well. Then outside the top 10, this is where it gets interesting. So Jacko, Jordan, Yuri, Connor, Quinn and Corey have all gone for softs. And so they're happy with that decision. MK Bourne, Evil and OKK have gone for mediums. Gareth, the only driver out there to go for the hard compound tyres. Will this work out for him? Or will he be on these just so he can get rid of them very early on? Perhaps it could be that. It could be that. But yeah,
very bold strategy for Gareth, but let's just hope there isn't a repeat of last season in Kia where he binned it with just a few laps to go around this corner. So he's hoping to survive a bit more than that tonight as well. But I can see why people outside the top 10 have gone for the softs, because they want to do double stints on the softs ideally, and they can last 8 laps, and you've got pretty much some extra softs to use in the race, because the drivers only have to qualify on 1 soft tyre. It's not like in any other league where people usually do 3 stints on the softs using three different sets of soft. No, they've got a lot of soft to use to their disposal, so we could see medium soft for all I know as well, and at least it's not illegal to do so as well. And if the weather changes as well, as someone has gone for a spin, that is risky past the castle section. Let's hope he doesn't do that in the race.
Yeah, let's not muck about like that during the race, please. That would be very, very nice for us to just not have that happen. Oh, what's going to happen here? The amount of carnage we're potentially going to get here, it really is. It could be off the scale tonight, because it does tend to be honest here. I'm looking forward to this one. Do you want to? Should we try and predict winners? We tend not to do this actually, but for something like this, it could be such a lottery. You might as well pick a name out of 20. There's a good chance you might be right. So do you know what? I reckon I'm gonna say that Kieran will finally break his duck tonight. For some reason, I just feel it for him tonight.
I predicted him in Japan when I filled in for JACKOCAR in Japan, and we know what happened there. So because of that, I'm not going to predict Kieran. He'll hate me for that. But I'm going to say, this is tough. This is tough. I am going to predict. I'm going to go for a bold prediction. I'm going to go for Jake, who's going to get his first final official win in JACKOCAR. Tonight is going to be the night for him. I can feel it. But I think J-Luke, if Jake doesn't get the win, I think J-Luke will be a close second because he's on the mediums. He can get it out of the way and he could just pit that one. But we'll see. That's my prediction. But no, I'm not predicting Kieran because we know what happened last time.
Yeah. Maybe it's a wise choice. We'll see. Really, we just don't know. This should be a cracker of a race. And sorry I've not predicted you, Jacko. I don't think it'll be that chaotic. But let's see what happens. We've got all the drivers approaching the grid now, just waiting actually for KK to get in, and then it'll be time. And when these 5 lights go out, I'm expecting some fireworks, folks. Feel free to give us some. Here we go. 5 lights on. It's Ben on the left, it's Casper on the right. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in Azerbaijan. And look at that. Casper straight into the lead. And look at the sliding. The amount of wheel spin for Iceman. He's got through, but man, that was close to being an accident straight away. He's down to 4th place. We've got Jamie fighting Kyle for 2nd position. And the man in the green car has got through, but this is fantastic news for Casper. He's got away very cleanly indeed, and with the guys fighting behind, he's already pulling some decent gap as we see side by side again. Kyle and Jamie nearly contact. Can Iceman get back into this one? Not quite at the minute. We've got some more side by side. We've got Jamie, our champion, our 2-time champion, fighting away with Kieran. He's already lost some places on the start, and we've got Iceman losing potentially more. He's got Jake on his inside on the exit of turn 6. And heads towards 7. Will Jake keep his nose in, or will he back it off for later on? I think he will just back it off. And well, look at this. Casper 1.5 seconds in front already.
Yeah, he's got a point to prove, hasn't he? He should have won in the first race. He should have won pretty much in all the races so far this season. He hasn't done it at all. And we already got our first retirement. I think I should shut up at this point because my prediction has currently binned it.
Yes. Jake is in the wall already. And it's a full safety car. Okay, it was originally virtual, but it's now full. So will we see those guys who starting on harder tyres pit and get rid of them? It means that they'll be able to make their 2 in-race stops for soft. So it literally would be just soft all the way. And that could be the method right here. And who else could possibly have damage? I'm not actually sure that it would have been in contact, because maybe Iceman would have caused damage, but he hasn't. So it literally must have been just a car losing, although he is pitting anyway, Iceman. So Iceman does pit under safety car. This is legal, remember, these days. This is nothing wrong with this. You can pit as much as you like under safety car, as long as you pit twice under green flags. And how many else will pit? It looks like it's only Iceman. So even the guys who start on harder tyres, possibly to get rid of them early on, they've decided not to.
That is interesting. I was expecting more people to go on to from the mediums to the soft tyres, but no, they're wanting to do that under green flag conditions, I guess. They want to do less maths than we are, to be honest, less confusing. But yeah, I could see why Iceman Dixie dropped through the field as well, but he knows that he's got to do 2 more stops now, and he's probably going to be pressurised by some of the soft runners, but he could almost certainly get in front of Gareth, who's on the hards. I'm surprised Gareth hasn't pitted yet. I thought he would have gone on mediums or softs, but he hasn't. He's stuck to his guns. He wants to go for the long run as well, but Does he know that he has to do 2 green flag stops? He surely does. We did that the last few times. But yeah, I'm shocked Gareth hasn't come in really. But, you know, it happens.
Well, look, we'll see possibly in a second safety car or something, whether that will become a factor, or maybe there's rain coming or something. I mean, it is a bit dull, but even then, you're on hards. Would you rather not just... I suppose it isn't a mandatory stop, is it? You'll have to make your 2 mandatory stops regardless. If else he's going to try and cash in and go long, if there's any weather, then he can take advantage then. But, we'll see what happens. It is only lap 2, so plenty of strategy still to inevitably happen. And, yeah, we will see the safety car probably in at the end of the next lap. Don't imagine it'll be staying out much longer than that. Everyone's on the train. It can't really come out the same... It can't really come in just a lap after it comes out unless it's right at the end of the race. Or at least not from what I've seen anyway. It would be nice to get it in this lap, but I don't think that's going to happen. Remember, the stages for this race, though, while we're under safety car, lap 6 and on lap 12, you will get a stage point. So, perhaps that could also be an element of some people not pitting off their mediums and stuff. Maybe they might fancy a lead later on if the soft one is pit beforehand, but I suppose no one's really going to do that. So, we'll see on that one, but I think Casper, as long as he has a good restart, should be alright. And remember that the restart zone will be 2 grid spots away from the start-finish line. Or at least, just actually, Jacko gave us an exact point earlier on for the restart point, which is 2 grid spots away, so really there's no excuse for the drivers to not know. But yeah, we'll keep our eye on it, but hopefully Casper gets that right, because we have seen drivers get it wrong as Jacko makes his first stop, and so he will be going onto the mediums, and he can just come onto the end of the train as long as he doesn't go straight off at 3, which he doesn't, and yeah, it just means he's on some slightly different tyres for the restart. Might as well, he's got his mandatory different tyre out of the way.
Yeah, maybe he wants to do... Maybe he should pit, maybe at the end of the safety car restart. I don't forget the pit lane is closed after that, but then the end of the first lap after green flag running, Jacko could pit and go on softs as well, which could work. I think Risky's gone for a bit of a... almost went for a bit of a spin again. Few people got overtaken on the safety car, that's a bit weird. But biggest gainers so far this race, both the medium runners of Red Matt and J-Luke, they're up to 4th and 5th, so... They are making ground, but don't forget Red Matt is leading the regular season. J-Luke has won in Baku last season. All 3 JACKOCAR Baku winners are on the grid today, and one person we forgot to mention is Carl. He won here in season 2. I think he also got pole one season, I think. I might be wrong.
Can't actually remember myself. This is where my stats should be in. This is where...
Yeah, he did.
This is where Jacko's needed. Yes, oh he did. Good. Actually, this is where Jacko should be there on the stats. Mind you, he actually is, because he gave us a little stats before this. I just didn't check them. But anyway, it's his job. I'm not used to doing his job. But anyway, safety car is coming in. Jacko himself has reached the end of the train, and he will be eager to see this restart zone followed, because he has a great view of everyone. So he can see how this all works, and trust me, he will be policing this. Even if he's at the back of the grid, he will be eagle-eyed, as will we, for this restart. These guys will know. Surely they will know. Casper is not going to go and restart ridiculously early. That would be incredibly irresponsible and arguably stupid. Just ask Deck. But let's see. It's a very long time he's going to be sat here, weaving and weaving and weaving. The tyres will get very hot. Everyone wants to be careful on the exit of turn 1 just in case they've overcooked them. And trust me, it wouldn't surprise me if someone has, because look at how long this has to go on for, because they're just crawling through. And you're looking for about now. And well, everyone streams past him, so, you know, it's an interesting one.
Is that allowed?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. We lose MK Born, there's all sorts of chaos at the back. We'll keep our eye on that. Jacko gets free. He's probably wondering what on earth's going on. OKK is very slow, and we know that obviously MK Born's out. But Kyle leads this from Casper 2nd, Jamie 3rd, Red Matt 4th. Obviously the question is, did everyone else jump too early? Because it looked to me like Casper was going relatively at the right time, and he, you know, maybe the rest were just able to anticipate it. I guess as long as they stay within the allotted car lengths, I suppose it's okay. But Yeah, I'm sure for our next safety car restart, we'll see if the same sort of thing happens. But no safety car for the accident because it has only just happened on the restart. So that's why we haven't got a safety car, because it would almost certainly be one in any other situation. As Evil, as he got some damage because he's holding up a right train at the minute. He has got damage, and that could be trouble into the castle section. We'll keep our eye on this because he's got 5 or 6 cars just waiting to come through, and they all blast through. There's multiple wings missing because Yuri's is completely gone, as is Corey's. OKK's just sitting behind them two thinking, is there any way for me to get through here? And they'll want to be careful there isn't some sort of hideous accident for here as well. And yeah, they're hitting the walls. Just be careful, lads. Be really, really, really careful. Now, the poor OKK, he's being really smart, but it's costing him so much time just not trying to get involved. As we see Casper pulling alongside Kyle, who is pitting. This is a green flag stop, so of course is absolutely allied. He's used all of his deployment on this lap, in fact, as Casper sets a fast lap. So he maximised that lap, did Kyle. And now him, along with a lot of others, are in for tyres, possibly some damage as well out there. And some stacking too. Look at this, Quinn having to sort of hold station. That's a painful one for him. He's got a front wing to change as well, so he's just having the longest pit stop of his life right now. And
yes,
I think Gareth's also having an equally long stop. Is that Jacko back in as well for a first green flag stop? So all these guys that have just pitted, it is their first green flag stops. And so we'll keep our eyes on that for the rest of the race. Casper then gets to lead this race again. If he can just hold that lead for another 2 laps, then he will take the first stage point. After that whole safety car fiasco, he's back where you could argue he should have been in the first place, and that is P1.
yeah, and he's on the soft tyres as well, so he's able to pull away from Red Matt as well. If Red Matt was on the softs, probably he would have given Casper a run for his money as well. He's using his overtake as well to pull away from Red Matt, so he's keen to get the stage point, but I think after he's got the stage point, he's probably going to come in. Have we got another yellow flag?
No,
it is
no,
Jamie.
no.
Jamie Griffiths has retired castle section. And luckily Risky avoided that. Don't know how he did, but he avoided it. Another safety car, and that is bad news if you have not pitted.
Yep, so that lets all those guys that have just pitted now. Jamie would have been one of them, but he has stuck it in the wall. But it lets them all catch up now. And this is what we were saying about Azerbaijan. It's going to be a safety car fest. Casper will stay out, so he wants that stage point. Other cars behind may decide to pit though, although we're not seeing much of it yet. Top 5 have all decided to stay out. Is Connor heading towards the pit lane? It looks like it to me. And he is indeed, so that's pretty clearly a pit stop for him. Who else is going to pit? All the rest of them, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they just stayed out, because well, they've already just been in the pits, haven't they? So I don't think they'll be looking new tyres that desperately. And it doesn't take off a mandatory stop this, so there's no real point. Unless you're later in the race looking for a wee sort of splash and dash on softs, no one should realistically be pitting at this point in time. Corey looked like he might have been edging towards it, but he won't pit. And yeah, okay. They've all gone through. So Connor has come back out decently in P11 actually. I don't think he'll be too upset with where he is at the minute. But obviously it didn't count as a mandatory stop. But well, that's sort of what happens in these safety cars, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think he would have pitted a lap later as well, so he got very unlucky with that, especially Casper as well got quite unlucky. But you never know, there could be some other situations where other people are forced to do safety car stops too, which puts you right back in this and right back in contention for the race victory as well. But I have to say, the net race leader at the moment, let me have a look at stops actually. Your net race leader is Iceman's done a stop under safety car. Kyle actually is your net race leader, doing a green flag stop after the safety car, and then in a net P2, believe it or not, it's Kieran.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously he benefited from the accident for Jamie, a really costly incident for him. And the safety car again will stay out another lap, should be heading in at the end of 7, and that will mean that without really any sort of competition, we will see Casper coming through to claim his first stage point of the evening. As long as it doesn't go horribly wrong between now and the finish line, I don't think he'll be pitting. That'll be putting him straight to the back. And what is the point of that when you've got a stage point that you can win? And, well, there he goes. Red Matt pulled right alongside. I did wonder if he was going to sneak ahead actually for a second and just nick that off him. Because he could obviously just give the play straight back, couldn't he? That would have been a bit of a situation for the stewards to try and figure out, but luckily he didn't pass. He just sort of chanced it going alongside. But yeah, we are now hopefully on the safety car's in lap.
Yeah, Red Matt was almost being very, very cheeky there as well. Let's hope he doesn't do that at the restart, because otherwise he's going to be in a lot of trouble as well. But I do remember the first time I actually came in real life to Baku, it was 2016. It was actually quite a dull race, but the other races around Baku in real life was pretty decent as well, with some great battles as well. I remember last season with Hamilton using the brake magic wrong, which costed him the win, and yeah, people were complaining, but it got Perez his second win in Formula 1, which to be honest I was very happy about. We could see some surprises here tonight as well. We could see anything happen. We could see people near the back maybe take a win as well, because obviously they've done their first stops, whereas some people have not as well. You just got to learn to never give up, because the playoffs, getting crucial points for here will mean that you have more of a chance of getting through into the playoffs. Casper does get the first stage point, which will help him at the next stage if he does obviously win the race tonight, because if you win you get 5 playoff points plus obviously any stage points that you get as well. You only get an extra 5 added on to that if you're on your Joker, but no one's on their Joker tonight, so it's not really that surprising though, is it, when we were told there was no Jokers really. I don't think anyone would have wanted their Jokers here with the amount of safety cars that would have happened, but someone could have been brave, but I wouldn't have done it, so not really too surprising.
So, will we see those lights go white? Yes, we will. And that'll be the safety car coming in then. And Casper, well, how is he going to approach the restart this time? Because assuming he did everything correctly last time, he'll probably be sitting here sort of panicking. So I fancy actually sitting on board, possibly even with sort of, likes of Iceman, and just watching what the guys around Casper do, and we'll see sort of how this restart plays from this sort of perspective, because I've got no doubt that Casper was going at the right time. It's just whether everyone else was just able to get a better run, because I mean it was 4 or 5 wide just as they all spread out to get past, and didn't seem like there was anything that Casper could do about it. But the safety car is in, we are ready to go green. All remains now is for Casper to get to the restart zone, and we'll see the resumption of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Does look like actually Jamie's left a bit of a gap, so you can see what he's thinking here. Is Jamie actually just going to floor it at some point? Casper is away. In fact, the field weren't interested. The field just stayed back. So I wonder if they have all sort of taken some retrospective look at that and thought, yeah, that was maybe a bit wrong, that restart. We do have a couple spinning off. I think Quinn was definitely one of them. Evil, possibly. No, actually, sorry, it was just Quinn. But he has gone off. But this time, Casper's restart has gone perfectly according to plan.
Yeah, it looked like it. That was perfectly well timed as well. I was surprised not many people would take advantage of that as well. But we are starting to see some battles through the field. Another yellow flag, which is corner. He's out the race. And there may be another safety car. Probably not, because it is the first green flag lap. No, there's not a safety car, but corner did, I think, a Yuki Tsunoda, but on the other side of the track. So that makes it the 4th retirement of this race. People were probably hoping for no more safety cars. Luckily we didn't get any as well. But we are starting to see J-Luke catching up to the back of Red Matt as we head past the castle section as well. As a safety car.
Okay, he's facing backwards. He's facing backwards.
Careful, KK!
Oh, he ghosts. He'll be alright.
Oh, that's good.
Although this is a massive disruption to the race. I mean, what this is doing is taking up all the safety car slots. But obviously it means if you're sitting there having made a mandatory stop, as Kyle and Kerry had a good restart getting ahead of Jordan, they have had their clean sort of first stops. They'll be sitting there, they'll be loving this. They'll be absolutely loving this. Because they know all these other guys are going to eventually have to give in and pit, but it won't be a mandatory stop. issue is they aren't actually getting the chance to do mandatory stops really at the minute, thanks to the amount of safety car we're getting. And we do see Casper into the pits. So I guess he feels there's no choice at this point. He's got to pit. Jordan doesn't do the same, mind you. And doesn't look like anyone else is. So,
okay,
Yuri.
Right though, due to the damage he's got. Yeah, he is.
So Yuri.
And Yuri as well.
And OKK. So they do decide to pit again. I suppose it is all just sort of damage stuff though. It's not necessarily strategic. The only sort of strategic one there was Casper, and even then you can just see how far behind he sits now. You know, there's so many who have had their one stop already, and a lot of them were perfectly fine. Iceman's wasn't. He still has to make 2 actual sort of pit stops in this one. So just sort of remember that. Connor's out, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. And obviously Yuri's gone into the pits, so you don't have to worry about him. Jacko's just behind Casper. And unfortunately, they're sort of in the same stop. In fact, Jacko's now net ahead. You know, Jacko's net ahead. And that sort of just shows how much Casper's actually lost out here. Because he's made his first mandatory stop, Jacko. And you can say the same sort of thing for Quinn as well, I think. So, yeah. Poor Casper. Unless it turns again later on. But for now, he's losing out.
He's losing now big time, really. And that could cost him in the long run as well. Maybe they should have done like what the likes of Kieran and Carl did. And obviously ST Mats, Corey. They probably should have pitted at the first opportunity the green flag, because that's probably what I would have done, because they must have known about the amount of safety cars. The amount of safety cars we have got in Cup Series last season was quite a lot. So I'm guessing they weren't predicting that, and they weren't watching the stream back from last season and didn't listen. So yeah, probably the wrong strategy for them, but I think they're going to know they don't have that many safety car slots left. So I think the sooner the safety car leaves, the better, really. But if there is damage or any accidents after that, then that's it. There's no safety car to rely on, no splash and dash for any of the drivers either. And it will just be a sprint to the finish as well. And I'm still very gutted for Jake. He's still yet to score a point this season. And just like JACKOCAR last season, if you finish, you get points. If you don't finish, you get 0 points for that race. So yeah, Jake will potentially still be at the bottom of the pile, because the other 3 that haven't scored points this season, they're still in this race, even though they're a bit lower down with Quinn and Casper. But still, they're still in the race, and they're getting more than 1 point at least anyway with the likes of Quinn and Casper.
So there's only 3 drivers yet to pit, and that is Red Matt, Jamie and Jordan. What are their plans will be seen later on, I suppose, because Jordan's the only one actually out there on the softs who's not pitted off of them yet. You know, okay, just put them on fresh, but Jordan's been on these since the start. And what's his plan going to be with those? We'll see when the safety car comes in, and of course this time we will see a different driver heading that restart. And I wonder if that will be making any difference to the guys out there on track. But yeah, we've been waiting a while for this race to really start, haven't we?
Yes, we've been robbed with a battle between Red Matt and JLu. That could possibly happen at the safety car restart. Actually, they got away through turn 1 very cleanly, actually. The clearest I've ever seen in a Baku race. But apart from that, there's always been a bit of drama to cause that safety car, and not much racing happening. And if I were them, I probably would have got bored right now, because they have done more yellow flag laps than green flag laps. I think they've already done about 2, 3, maybe 4 laps. It's ridiculous.
Not many. We're already actually approaching that second playoff point here on lap 10. The next playoff point comes at 12, so that will be quite soon. And the Red Matt perhaps will be staying out to try and get that. But hopefully we'll be seeing those lights turn off again, and hopefully this time they'll stay off and the safety car can just go away for a bit. Now let's see.
A different restarter.
Yeah, let's see how Red Matt handles this then, because he's obviously seen Casper try it in 2 sort of different scenarios. One where he gets absolutely swamped, the other where he easily pulls away. So will this one go any differently? And will anyone be able to punt? Will Jamie perhaps be throwing one up the inside in a desperate attempt to pass? You know, someone along those lines. Will we see it as we get ready to restart the Azerbaijan Grand Prix once again? Jamie following very closely this time to Red Matt, not letting him get away. And he heads to the restart zone. Now, and Iceman's had a good start. Kyle's had a really good start, but he's been blocked off straight away. And here comes Kieran running outside. This is really important for this race. Can he get himself ahead of Kyle? Because if he can, then this is a really important move, potentially, for the win of this race. But around the outside he goes, off Jamie in fact. He hasn't quite completed the move on him yet. Forget even going for Kyle. Now he's done that. And he can try and set his sights on the net race leader as Jamie comes back at him, but surely he'll have the inside for the next corner and should be able to hold on. Jamie, on older tyres, surely won't quite have the longevity to fight this battle longer than really the next sort of couple of quarters, and that's why he's fighting so hard to get himself back ahead now. But again, Kieran should block it off. Jamie, nowhere to go, hits the back of Kieran's car. And yeah, not going to get through there. Corey trying to fight with Risky. This is for P6 out there. And you can see them side by side to the castle section. I think there was a car nearly in the wall. And we definitely got one now. And Risky has caused an accident. And they'll all get through. But shockingly, we've got another safety car. I don't really know what these guys are smoking today. Because, come on, folks. I mean, what did you think was going to happen there? But, well... We're whittling down the cars quite rapidly right now. And again, no chance to pit for a mandatory stop. At this rate, anyone who's not stopped yet is going to have a terrible race.
Yeah, including our race winner from last season as well, J-Luke. He hasn't stopped yet. Technically, Iceman as well. Anyone that hasn't done a mandatory stop under the green flags, they're in trouble. So let's see. I think Jacko's fine because he's done a green flag stop. Same with Yuri, I think, as well. Let me have a look. Yeah, Yuri's made a green flag stop, so he's fine. And of course, we've got some other drivers who've, I think KK made a stop on the safety car. Yes, he did, so he's in a lot of trouble. But we got Jordan and Quinn making another non-mandatory stop. So I will, if I can find the list, it seemed to have disappearing on me. They're coming in, and Jacko is in as well again.
I wonder if Jacko's in there just to quickly hop into the chat and start shouting at people. Behave yourselves, etc. Because
yeah.
Unfortunately, on his return to track racing, he's not really doing much racing. All this is slowly shuffling Kyle and Kieran up the field, though, and Kieran, there's still a very decent chance he could take a win off Kyle. Kyle, if he wins this race, by the way, would go equal second on all-time wins with Arnold and Khalifa. So a win here would be very nice for him. He obviously won here as well in Season 2. Was very, very, very close to it in Season 4, but things happened, including a start line accident, or a finish line accident. Very dramatic.
Yeah, it was a finish line accident as well. Did he hit someone? I can't remember who he hit.
Arnold did a lot of weaving, and then crashes happened. It was very messy. Both of them ended up with issues, and it ended up going to Jamie to win, who was absolutely not in the fight for the win, right up until the moment where they crashed across the line. It's shockingly, it wasn't the only time the race win got decided by a crash over the line last season. It was just one of those seasons. But
yeah, but it was.
Well,
quite interesting as well. I think we could see a lot of stewards penalties, I think, this race as well from people due to the amount of time. I mean, quite a lot of people have lost it by themselves, really. So it may not be. The stewards might be surprisingly quiet, but this is the fourth safety car. So hopefully after this, we won't get any more. Fingers crossed.
Bold to say.
I know, but usually sometimes after 4 it doesn't appear. But I've already jinxed someone this race. I'll shut up at that point as well. But yeah, Iceman's still yet to do his mandatory stop. We have, I think, Casper still yet to do his mandatory stop either. Same with OKK. Estimat comes in for his non-mandatory stop as well, but he's only stopped once, so he under green flag, so he only has to pit one more time. And he's gone on to soft, so I guess he wants to go on soft another set of softs later until the end, but he's got a bit of damage. That's probably why. That explains it then. But yeah, it doesn't affect him. He only has to stop once, but it will affect the people that hasn't pitted yet. We're only halfway, and we get to see some battles, please.
Red Matt has picked up the second stage point of the race, by the way, so that's all those stage points sorted out. Now all we need to do is get the race restarted and hopefully get to the end of the restart lap so that we can see the pit stops. Because I imagine there's a good chance you'll see an absolute flurry of pit stops right now, because at this point they need to make 2, and it's going to possibly be a lot of soft running. And if they can just get the 2 stops made quickly before the next safety car, because there's a good chance you'll get one, then they'll be back in play. But it's just about getting to that point. They've got to get these stops done.
Yeah, I think, remember a situation where similar things have happened as well. There was a 25% race last season, remember, in Silverstone, 2 25% races. Similar situation where they had to make stops in succession. We could see one person go onto a set of softs, then go onto a set of softs again until the end. So they may only go on 1 lap on the soft tyres and then before they come in. So yeah, I think that's what they should do at the moment, to not particularly be out of that race, because there's still people yet to stop as well. But of course they do not want to be lap. Everyone has caught up, so surely by now, yep, the safety car is in. Red Matt will be leading once again with Iceman in P2. He's on the fresher tyres though, Iceman. But Kyle's on even more fresher tyres, same with Kieran and Corey as well. J-Luke's on the same amount of tyres as Red Matt, because J-Luke hasn't pitted either. So yeah, good position changes from some drivers, keeping the attrition up. For drivers just staying out as well by doing their 1 stop, because they could be on for some decent points after this. Even if they got damage, it's not enough for them to give up at this point. But we'll follow Red Matt as he does his restart.
Yes, let's see if this one goes to plan, please, everybody. I'm actually sort of begging you at this point. Let's just restart the race, shall we? Oh, look at this. 4 wide nearly there. And Kyle, is he going to get himself straight through into the lead? Don't collide. They've collided. And here comes Iceman. And look out for Kieran as well. And Corey too. Corey made his mandatory stop. I think he's made a mandatory stop so far, hasn't he? If I remember correctly.
Let me check. Yes, he has. He hasn't made any safety car stops. So yeah, he's only got 1 more stop to go.
We're seeing then from him a last of first so far. If he can just get by Kieran and Kyle. Oh, big one! And there's so many cars off, and the game's crashed as well. So I hope your game is still working. No, so we can't even keep track of the pit stops, and so we're gonna have to put a lot of faith into the people who are, well, pitting, because that'll almost certainly be another safety car. And now me and Jess are going to have to risk corrupting our PS5s. So wish us some luck here, as we unfortunately have to take a break.